it's time to skid it. Hopping out the rave and skid it. Smashing on that bitch and skid it. Run to the check with no limit. Popping on X, popping on X, popping on X. Chill.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sir Splash, and today it is here. I got this here quicker than most debunks that I do. Anyways, it is Doctor Strange versus Dr. Fate Screw Attack Debunk. Now, I would like to preface this video with saying that most of the stuff I will talk about and most of the problems I have with Screw Attack isn't so much the result and who wins, as much as the research they put into it and the facts they point out and how they present the data. So that's where most of my beef goes with, not so much the results and their opinions, but the research they do and the facts that they present. That is where I take issues. So I'm going to go through certain parts of the video, talk about those parts and why they're wrong or weird, and we will keep going. And I did this, I analyzed their video in a way that I would stop when I found something, take notes, compare it to my notes, and go about it that way. So I did this debunk as I went through the video. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into it. Yeah, so first part, I'm analyzing Doctor Strange information they provided, because the formats of the videos, they present one character, then the other, then have the battle and explain why the battle went that way. So the first thing they did with Doctor Strange that I thought was weird was they seem to have a heavy emphasis on his astral projection around the 3-minute mark. I just found this to be weird. Like, why are you emphasizing this as if this is a key factor in the battle when both can do things like that? I don't see this being anything like remarkable in a fight between him and Fate. So that's a little weird and a little alarming that that's the thing they are focusing so much on. Next part. So I kind of want to point out something they did around the 3:20 mark. So they said he invokes the Vishanti for his spells, like that's who he has to go to for spells, yet they contradict themselves in the upper corner, talking about characters like Dormammu or Sidorak that he gets his powers from. So I don't know why they said it's the Vishanti, like that's all, but then he gets it from other powers, and they admitted that in the corner. Weird ass stuff. I don't like that when I see battles like this, because that means they're gonna mess up, guys. We could see it coming. Let's move on. Alright, so at the 3:40 mark, I want to kind of emphasize something. So not only did Doctor Strange eventually take the mantle of Sorcerer Supreme when the Ancient One was done, but he later was amped by the power of the deceased Ancient One. So he got some of that leftover power. So it's not like he just took the mantle, but he also got a pretty good power boost after that, which was key to him reaching such a high level. So they didn't talk about that. They just said he got the mantle, but that's important to note. Moving on. So around the 4:09 mark, they posted on their list of stuff the Book of Vishanti, which is every known spell and counter spell, but they didn't talk about that. Are you going to try to gloss over that? Anyways, let's move on. So around the 5:08 to 5:42 mark, they claim Strange crossed the universe in 5 seconds, clocking in at 6 quadrillion times the speed of light. Goddamn Screw Attack speed math. I hate that shit. It's always cancerous. Let me explain why. So they just said he's 6 quadrillion times speed of light, right? Yet before, in their Thor Wonder Woman video, they said Thor had apparently traveled the universe in 60 seconds, which means he went to one end of the universe in 30 seconds. They said this was only 500,000 times the speed of light. But something 6 times faster was 6 quadrillion times the speed of light. So based on their math in this Doctor Strange Fate video, Thor should have been at least a quadrillion times the speed of light. So their math in between videos is over a quadrillion times off. Moving on. So around 5:53, they started listing feats, including Dormammu in-betweener and Shumagoroth being dubs for classic Doctor Strange. By the way, they're using classic Doctor Strange, and it appears some regular Doctor Strange post-retcon, which worries me because they might fall back on post-retcon, who would lose to Dr. Fate. But so each one of the people they credited him with beating are lowballed Universal, like cancerous lowballs. And they are truly multiversal threats as they scale to entities like Eternity. And he also fought in the 5,000 Year War. Maybe they're going to talk about that and claim that's like all the experience he has. I don't fucking know. But anyways, let's move on. So around the 6:20, 6:30 mark, they're doing some weird suspect shit. They are emphasizing that Doctor Strange can fight at star level, supernova level, planet level. Like that's what they're focusing on. So that's a fucking issue. I mean, when they're like, yeah, he can destroy planets, it's like, well, yeah, and he could take a shit too, but that's not glorious. Like, what are you doing, my guy? Why is that your point of emphasis? Their points of emphasis are fucking weird. But moving on. So at the 7-minute mark, they seem to be highlighting that peak classic Strange. Peak Strange we've seen is universal in power, only universal. That is fucking incorrect. They already debunked themselves around the 5:53 mark, but, you know, fuck it. I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, moving on. Alright, so moving on to Dr. Fate. First thing, around the 7:40 mark, they're talking about Naboo, the Lord of Order, and it might be useful for us to bring this up later as far as power scaling, but we can go ahead and move on to the next point. Around the 8:50 mark, the helmet is what gives him Naboo's power, and they're emphasizing this. He also has the cloak and the amulet of Anubis, which are amps. Now they were kind of not showing much promise with how they were describing these amps. But with Doctor Strange, all the amps were really like well explained and looked a lot stronger. I wonder if they're dick teasing us. But anyways, let's move on. Now at this point, it's about 9 minutes 25 seconds. They emphasize how he can get knowledge from prior Dr. Fates. And when you look at everything else, his relic descriptions as well as his abilities, they're really vague. And this is kind of perfect for them to wank. We already talked about that, so, you know, we're seeing a pattern. But anyways, next point. Around the 10:15 mark, they have a really weird emphasis, like molecular manipulation and power absorbing. Yet these were listed for Strange as well. So they're emphasizing shit that's probably not going to come into effect in the battle, which is really suspect, really suspicious, and has me worried, frankly, for the outcome. But let's go ahead and move on to the next point. Alright, so around 10:28, they said Dr. Fate held together a universe by himself. This shit's hilarious because if you watch the video at this point, they show the scan and they highlight what they're talking about. But if you read the rest, and if you've read the story before, you would know they're bullshitting. He didn't hold it by himself. In this instance, it was both him and the Spectre. And basically, the Spectre had to tell him to fucking suck it up, Buttercup, because we got to get this shit done or a universe is done. And, you know, Fate was like, oh, I have finite magic. We have finite magic. How can we do this? And Spectre was like, don't be a fucking pussy. So, yeah, they definitely misrepresented this fact. Next point. So at the 10:43 mark, one thing that they listed was that Fate stalemated Spectre at multiversal amp level. This is bullshit. And it's funny enough, one time Fate and Spectre were conversing while traveling with another. And Fate mentioned that he had been a lot stronger back then. And this is where we see Spectre say, hey, at some point tell me why that happened, why you lost your power, because at your highest peak, you were nearly at my level. So clearly, even at his highest level, Fate was not Spectre's level. So that's bullshit. Anyways, moving on. So at the 1053 mark, they talk about how he survived a realm of pretty much nothingness. And Strange has done shit like this before. Also, they said Fate survived a multiversal event and was unaffected. But during this event, anyone outside of the normal multiverse wasn't affected. Not just Dr. Fate. We saw people like Darkseid. So he wasn't the only one, and it's really, if you're outside of the multiverse, you're not in that one, you weren't affected by the crisis. So, yeah, and that's not really as big of a deal as, it shouldn't be relevant to this battle. But anyways, moving on. So at 11:15, we're just going to mention how they admitted the helmet is crucial, and if you take it off, he's kind of going to get fucked. So that's an important note to make. I don't know if they're going to reference it, but definitely important. Moving on. So at 11:40, they mentioned merged Dr. Fate. However, this was no longer Kent Nelson. This is different than Strange's Ancient One amp. This Fate amp was when he was merged with both Indra and Naboo and became one. So it's kind of like how Goku and Vegeta, like they can become Vegito. You don't give the feats in Vegito to Goku solely, because that's not true. He was merged. It's a different being. Like Strange's amp, he just took power. He didn't merge with anyone. So that's different. And you can even throw both their amps out. I don't care. But no, they specifically showed that Kent Nelson was the one fighting, and they ran through Kent Nelson. So they should not be mentioning a merged Kent Indra Naboo, because that's a new being. So that should not be relevant, and it should not be a factor in the fight. Anyways, let's keep it moving to the battle results. So at 17:55, I would say I think Strange would personally win this battle. It's a really close one. I think Strange would win. But let's go ahead and hear out why they said Fate wins. So at 18:24, Deathbattle claims they look for the most likely outcome.
Are you sure about that?
Now, at 18:32, they said one of the biggest factors was experience. This is hilarious. And I actually, in my pre-fight podcast I did with my buddy Chunky Jamar, you can hear me say they were going to do this shit. They're going to say something like, oh, Strange is a man. He can't have experience like that. So, yeah, it's bullshit. Doctor Strange was experienced enough to fight and beat Dormammu, In-Betweener, and fought Zom, who had been so powerful and such a monster that he had to be suppressed by both Dormammu and Eternity combined. And the fact that they even admitted, like, yeah, he fought these beings, he beat some of them. So he can do that, but he won't be able to hang with Naboo, a Lord of Order, when he can hang with someone that could beat Eternity. Are you serious? And pre-retcon, Beyonder actually sought out Doctor Strange once and found him. And he admitted that he had never seen or met anyone or like encountered anyone like Doctor Strange. And he admitted that in his drunk state that he was. Remember, this pre-retcon Beyonder made Galactus look like a pussy, okay? And he said Doctor Strange could have easily trapped him inside of a pocket dimension and just thoughted him, but he didn't. So you're telling me this experience, like Naboo just has more experience in battle and more experience with magic. That's just not the case. That's stupid. Anyways, moving on. So at 1927, this shit was hilarious. This is where they really fucked themselves in this video, where they gave me the biggest... I'm going to take the biggest shit on them, okay? I tried to keep it not personal, but this shit is ridiculous. So they said that Dr. Fate is 4 quintillion times faster than Doctor Strange because Strange crossed the universe in 5 seconds. I think it's 4. It's either 4 or 9. I don't know what I wrote. But anyways, so regardless, fuck ton, right? That's not like he's a couple times faster. This shit is a terrible ass pull. It's terrible strawman, whatever you want to call it, whatever the technical term. It's bullshit because they're using 1 feet. That's like saying, okay, Splash, it took you 20 seconds to walk across the street. I can run across the street in 3. Therefore, I'm this much faster than you, but I can run too. I just wasn't. So taking just 1 feet, isolating it, and saying that's their top speed is ridiculous. Doctor Strange, one time, I believe it was in Strange Tales, it was in the 140s or the 150s. It's in that range. Anyways, he had someone with him, and he tapped into his speed. He reached a speed in which was stated no mortal had ever gone. He reached a speed so fast that he started breaking through infinite dimensions. And he went so fast that he created an infinite time loop within itself. And he was going so fast that he was about to run into himself. You heard me correctly. He was about to run into himself. And he stated, because of this infinite time loop I created by my speed, if we run into myself, I will cease to exist. I don't know how the fuck that works scientifically. It's comic books, all right? Fuck off if you want a scientific explanation. But this is literally unfathomable. Like, we can't put a speed on it. And he was still fast enough to be gone throughout the time loop. He destroyed it. So he was fast enough to react to what was about to happen. So he's definitely faster than where they put him at. That shit is ridiculous. I mentioned the speed math before. We should have seen this at the goddamn warning sign of some bullshit. But that, oh man. And they said, oh, we know Doctor Strange fans are going to tell us how Strange would win. Yeah, we are, because he would win. So you played yourself there. You look like a dick. But anyways, once I reached the speed explanation, I gotta quit here, guys. They're an L. Their calculators don't work. Whoever they're paying $2 to research. Actually, I found out who their researcher is. He's Geraldo. His name's Geraldo. So just post L in my comment section for Geraldo. Just put hashtag L for Geraldo. Fuck that guy, because his math is not even 3rd grade level. 3rd graders can operate a calculator. But anyways, we're done here. This is the debunk. I tried to keep it, non-personal. But that shit at the end was ridiculous. I didn't watch the animation yet. I'll go back and watch the animation. Once again, I always love their animations, so I can't knock them for that. And it's just for entertainment purposes. They've said so it doesn't matter. But I would also, I'm going to say it once again for any Screw Attack fans here to fight me. I don't care who they say wins, because it's an opinion at the end of the day. These aren't real characters. But I care about the facts they present, how they present them, and whether or not it's bullshit. And if they're actually true to what's true in the source material. Clearly, they don't read the source material. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind the debunks and the points behind the debunks. I'm debunking the research and all the stuff they put into it. They feed the common viewers who don't know anything. But anyways, it's been your boy, Sir Splash. This has been a debunk. Like, subscribe, comment, share it, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.